I think the biggest change for me most recently is the removal of the mask mandate, which has been a very welcome step in the progress away from COVID. So, like everybody else, COVID has been just dominated the city for almost 2 years. And in fact, it was 2 years ago this week that I declared the first state of emergency in the history of the city to deal with COVID. So I know we don't like to talk about it. It's very difficult in a lot of cases, but that has been the primary focus of my work at the city, is to keep us all safe. And what a remarkable job we've done as a community. A vaccination rate over 95%, leading the world in a lot of ways in that sense, very low hospitalization rates, thanks to the work of both the federal government, the province, city, and the public, really. So there has been a tremendous amount of loss in this community, and I think we still will be dealing with that as COVID fades off into the distance. But at this point, with the daffodils blooming and the masks off, we can start thinking about spring and actually having an enjoyable summer, I hope. So the last year has been really, like everybody else, dominated with COVID. I don't have to tell you that not everybody was cooperative during COVID. So there's been many protests from people that don't like mandates and such things. Often, unfortunately, mixed with very intolerant statements and symbols aimed at segments of the community that really don't deserve it and always have to be called out, whether it's racism or misogyny or those. So that has also been part of the last year, is to push back on really hatred within our community. But again, I know that's a very small minority of people. So COVID, we've all pulled together. I think we've all done as well as anybody in the world, and better in most cases. If I was going to say the second priority, it's been housing. Really, that in 2018, that was a top concern of folks coming into the election. And so I really took the bit in my teeth and have been pulling as hard as I can. And I have to tell you, the three things people tell me are this. One is I can't afford to buy a home. The second thing they tell me is I can't afford to rent a home. And tragically, the third thing is that they don't have homes at all. So I have been really looking at those three segments of the housing problem crisis we have here in the city. So first, for those of your viewers that are interested in owning a home here in Vancouver, council agreed to pass what is a Canada First policy. The first time in Canada is that in Vancouver in the coming months, we'll be allowing people that own single detached homes, single family homes, to build up to 6 units on that property. These units will be stratified, so they'll be for sale. Now the form of the housing will be ground oriented, so it'll actually look like a character home that you might see in the city that has been renovated, or a heritage home. So it's not much taller than a regular, say, single detached house. But what really is revolutionary here is that these property values will go up quite a lot, but the city will capture some of that value and put that money into the community, into climate change, into childcare, into infrastructure. There's a lot, since council agreed to do this with up to 2,000 lots in our city to begin with. I've had calls from around the world as to how this policy will work and roll out. And so I'm really excited that council supported me on this. But I do think this will bring up to 10,000 new homes for purchase, probably within 3 years. So that from start to finish. So that is a big deal. Also within this policy is that some of these homes will be permanently protected from speculators. So that is also very, very important. And it ties into my tripling of the empty homes tax, which has driven 4,000 units of empty, mostly condominiums, back onto the market. So either for rental or for purchase. And that is again another way of making sure that everybody has a right to has an opportunity to purchase or definitely to live in the city. On rentals, We have a record number of units under construction. In the city of Vancouver right now, we have 9,000 units under construction of both for purchase and rental homes. That is a record in this city. And the best thing is, for the first time ever, over 40% of what we're constructing are rental homes. So we've moved away from the super high-end glossy condominiums that nobody can afford, and we're moving into very aggressively into market rentals. So even though the market's high, these are secured rentals, and so once you're in them, you can't get kicked out by your landlord, like is the case in many strata rentals that I live in. I'm a renter and I live in a strata home. Finally, on the homelessness, which is a terrible thing to go through. My family, when I was a kid, we lost our home, and it was really traumatic. It still affects my family to today. My family fell in very hard economic times and lost our house. So for those, it's something very close to my heart. Folks that are living rough. So working with the federal and provincial governments, and I can't believe we've been able to do this. We've secured over $1 billion in housing investment, which is going to lead to over 10,000 homes being built, many of which are for those living without homes. So if you think, well, what does that look like? Modular houses, modular homes all around the city right now, about 1,000 units, which is amazing to, I think, accomplish in 4 years. And many of these units now have what we call complex care supports. So if you're suffering with mental health or addiction issues, it's not just that we provide you a bed and a place to cook your dinner. You also get 24-hour wraparound care. So if you're somebody to help you remember to take your medication, somebody to help you if you're having medical difficulties, somebody to help you if you're dealing with addiction issues. So that is a huge investment by the provincial government that's helping us. So it's really been COVID has been something we're reacting to, but the housing has been something I've been rushing ahead with kind of all my might, and I feel good about the results. But there's so much more to do on that file.